Hey everybody, what's up? My name is Michael Grass, and this is the Grassroots 304 podcast, and this is episode 23. Actually, no, this is episode 24. I've kind of been out of the hang of things a little bit, but yeah, glad to be back in the studio this week. I've got a special guest with me tonight. His name is Casey. He is Casey, you're the drummer for the Buffalo Wabs and the Price Hill Hustle, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, and are you also the lead singer? Is that what I read? Lead vocalist?
We split lead duties a lot throughout the night with the band, so I take a lot of the lead. I'm kind of the front man and the MC for the band as well. I do all the talking, the in between the songs, the interstitial stuff, you know.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. You got to keep up with it with the crowd and keep them entertained between breaks, I guess, right?
Yeah, you have to, man. That's it's one thing I enjoy about shows, I guess. There's a difference between playing music and putting on a show, in my opinion, and some of that's connecting to the crowd and making it kind of an engaging experience. So I try to do that. Yeah,
I dig that because there's been plenty of shows I've been to before in the band. They just they go right out on stage, don't say a word, start playing. Might play like 2 or 3 songs before they say, "Oh, hey, what's up, everybody?" Mm-hmm. But they don't interact with the crowd at all. I mean, maybe it's, I don't know, stage fright. Maybe it's just they don't know how to do that. Maybe it's the difference between putting on a show, like you said, and a performance as well. But I dig that, and I think the crowd, as somebody that's out in the crowd too, they'd like that as well. Making that connection.
I agree. I think so too. It's live music is an experience, and I definitely appreciate guys who play and their goal is to kind of they write songs, like really craft songs, and they just kind of barrel through tunes and stuff. And I appreciate good music in all forms, but just something personally that I enjoy from shows is when you get a bit of a personal touch, and one way I'm able to do that is just to talk. I guess I've been doing it long enough now, and through my background is in theater and stuff, and so I just have a little more comfortability with that, I think. So maybe some guys just aren't comfortable with it, and that's cool, but it's something I don't really mind at this point.
Right.
Know? And I also, one thing I hate is dead air on stage.
Yeah.
And so it's, there's only so much time I can let lapse before something has to be said.
Right.
So that's part of it for sure.
Yeah, I understand that. I hate having dead air, at least when it comes to doing a podcast, because sometimes you'll have those moments in between a conversation where it's just a little bit of pause, and sometimes it's an awkward pause, sometimes it's not. It just depends. But that's like how normal conversations are. It's always a one-on-one conversation, honestly. But it's hardly ever that I get anybody else asking me questions in return. So I always have to come up and think with it. And sometimes I'd run out of questions. Like, well, I can't, what else here? Let me run back through what we talked about.
I'm gonna have to sit here and think about it. I'm gonna ask you a question tonight. Then I'm gonna think about it throughout the night.
Yeah, man. Anytime, I'm an open book. I've got the gift of gab, and I could talk people's legs off, and especially when they ask me questions. But yeah, I went through earlier. I've been listening to you guys throughout the week a little bit. I've known who your band is for some time due to the other people around me in this circle of music here in Charleston and in West Virginia. I can't say that I don't like Bluegrass because I like Leftover Salmon.
Okay.
But I've never really listened to you guys up until this week. So
right.
What I take from it is kind of like a old-timey traditional bluegrass sound, but it's almost a little bit more like faster. Some of the songs, it seems like more like jamgrass in a way.
Yeah, we seem to kind of find some fans that are into the jamgrass scene. We don't classify ourselves as bluegrass, really. We're kind of bluegrass adjacent, I would say. There are definite elements of bluegrass in our music. Old country, like you said, kind of an old-timey, old country feel. We do a lot of harmonies, 2 to 4 part harmonies. Everybody sings in the band, so that's something that draws from my background and from the bluegrass world. My background is definitely not bluegrass. My first instrument was saxophone. I listen to all kinds of stuff, and I enjoy bluegrass, but my musical background is definitely not that. And with the drum element especially, we certainly don't fall into the traditional side. So we do find a lot of fans in the jamgrass scene and stuff like that because, we're kind of heavy on some musicals, on some instrumental solos and stuff like that, loose and things. So, calls us bluegrass, but it's like all my drums out because they'd be like, "What the hell are you doing?" You know.
Right.
So yeah, we kind of float along in that space for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I dig it, and as it is with any sound and music, it's always it's good to come up with different things and to switch things up. We had this band last week, and I'm sure you know who it is. They're the Restless Leg String Band.
Oh yeah.
And the bassist in that band, instead of playing the upright bass, he was playing like a what do you call it, like electric bass?
Like an electric bass.
Yeah, yeah. And I was saying, well, that's not traditional at all. And he said, well, no, it's my bass is messed up right now. And obviously he couldn't use it. But of course, it's one of those things, and switching up and just trying things differently. I don't see anything wrong with it, but of course, those traditional guys, they might not, look at it as the same way, I should say.
Oh, sure. Well, and there are purists. I mean, with everything, and it's like with old timey music, that's kind of a complaint you hear from some of the real heavy old timers, or not old timers, but some of the real heavy people in like old time music. Is that there is this purist attitude of like it has to be done this way or it doesn't count, or you have to play this style or it doesn't count. And it's like that only like you only have the benefit of looking at anything that way from the progression through history and from having a bank of knowledge to kind of look back on. It's like when Woody Guthrie was writing songs, he wasn't like, well, I've got to write them in this style. It's just that he developed a style that now we look back on, and he's a part of the old time catalog or the folk singer catalog or whatever it may be. I mean, jazz has gone through that, rock and roll has gone through that, heavy metal's going through that right now. All of these guys are like, well, it's got to be done this way. So it's like, no, it doesn't. Nothing has to be done any particular way. And I think that's kind of what we pull off of. It's like we're an acoustic band that plays what we want, and sometimes we get loud and I bang the drums like I'm trying to play Van Halen, and sometimes we play like sad ballads, and sometimes we sing a cappella songs, and we just like to do what we do. It's like that's music. We play music. We play American roots influenced music. Just period, really.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I like that, and that really explains it a lot too. I was also going to ask you, what's the name behind the Buffalo Wabs?
Well, we get that a lot. Our front guy, lead guitar and lead vocals, he's Matt Wabnitz. He's from the west side of Cincinnati. He's an old friend of mine, and he's been Wabs as long as I've known him. So he's Wabs. He picked up the Buffalo moniker around the time we started the band. And Price Hill, for the Price Hill Hustle, is the west side neighborhood where Wabs is from. Price Hill, born and raised there, and when I first moved up to Cincinnati and met a bunch of Cincinnati folks, I was going over to the west side and singing songs at an open mic with those guys, and that was kind of the first crew I was really running with in Cincinnati, some almost 20 years ago now. So we kind of just pulled together those influences, but yeah, he's Wabs. He started the band. He's the one who called me up and was like, "Dude, we got to start a band," and just kind of gone from there.
That's cool. And
it's a mouthful.
And he lets you do all the talking, huh?
Well, he doesn't only let me; he encourages me because he doesn't say many words, but when he does, they're not powerful. So
Yeah, okay. I think that's a cool name though, certainly, and it's got a cool history to it, a cool background.
Yeah.
What's his last name again?
Wabnitz.
Wabnitz.
Yeah, he was the first one I'd ever met for sure.
That's the first time I ever heard that. That's cool, Wabnitz. So when I read on your all's website, it said Wabs like mob.
That's right. Yeah. Well, because a lot of people see WABS and they'll pronounce it Wabs, and it's like that. Well, that's just not it. So yeah. So I put when I wrote out that bio, I put in the phonetic of it sounds like this because it's just one of those pet peeves for us. But yeah, his family was originally from upstate New York, I believe, is where his dad's family was from, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe it was his mom's. But anyway, he's got like an upstate New York influence and brought the Wabnitz name down to Cincinnati. And he's, like I said, born and raised there on the west side. And yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, man.
Okay. So you guys have been playing together for 20 years. Is just you and him 20 years? Or
well, 10 years. We've been together. Years. Yeah, I've been in Cincinnati for 20. But we actually right now, what is it? The 1st of March here. Yes. We just passed our 10-year mark as a band. It was the first part of the year, 2013, and Wabs was bartending at a bar over on the west side of Cincinnati, the Crow's Nest, the oldest Irish bar in Cincinnati. If you ever go, by the way, if you're listening, go to Cincinnati, go to the Crow's Nest. It's an awesome time. Tuesdays open mic with Sean Gile of the Tillers is an unreal time. That's where we met. Was open mic night at the Crow's Nest. Or well, we met from other friends, but started playing the open mic all the time, and just having fun and being there till 3:00 in the morning on Tuesday. And early 2013. Our good buddy Chicago Farmer, he's another folk singer that passes around. He's got a great band. He's been playing music now for 20 years actually, celebrating 20 years this year. And he was passing through town, and Wabs, kind of joking around, was telling Cody, he's like, "Oh yeah, I've played. I had a band and this and that and the other." And said, "Hey, I'll tell you what. Next time you come through town, you let me know and I'll open up for you." And Cody said, "Okay." And then early 2013, Cody hit him up and said, "Hey, I'm passing through town. I want you to open up for me. I'm doing 2 nights at the Crow's Nest." And Wabs called me immediately and was like, "Dude, I told Cody that we would open up for him when he came back through town. I can't tell him no. Like, we got to start a band. We got to start a band."
Yeah.
I said, "Well, what are we going to do? We're not a band." So we started it up. We had a jug player and a guy who played banjo and mandolin. And then Wabs played guitar. I was not a percussionist. I'd never played drums until this band. So I started playing a snare drum, a suitcase for a kick drum, and a tambourine and a washboard. And we sang and we got rowdy and beat the hell out of it. And after that first gig, we were like, man, this was fun. And we got a couple more gigs just from trying to ask people if they wanted to put on shows. Mm-hmm. And honestly, never in my wildest dreams did I think this would be the project that like kept me playing professionally, for 10 years now. But it is.
So, aside from this, what do you do? Like, what's your regular job? Right now,
what do
you think would have kept you going? I suppose.
Well, that's an excellent question because, so I went to school for theater. I was born and raised in Alabama, and I moved up to Cincinnati to work a cabaret theater job. So, it was kind of like live action Saturday Night Live. Mm-hmm. Like you go into the club and it was sketch comedy and rock music and things like that. I've been involved with music my whole life. My dad was a singer and a drummer in a country band when I was growing up as kind of just a little side hobby project that he had. But I grew up singing in church, and I've been singing since I can barely, remember, and always loved music. Saxophone was my first instrument, and so I played jazz music all through college. I had a partial scholarship for college on jazz, and so I've been musically involved in some way. But I originally thought I wanted to kind of go down the acting path. I wanted to keep traveling around and going to theaters and whatever. And I finished up my job in Cincinnati, and I was too broke to go anywhere to audition. Mm-hmm. So I ended up working in restaurants, and I kind of given up on it, and I was playing. And a couple years after the cabaret job, my buddy who was in the band there, he left that theater, and we started a little trio. And that was the first time I ever started playing bar gigs, and I enjoyed, kind of the gigging life, and it was fun, but it was small, and I was still working. I was doing the kind of the typical in the music scene, or a lot of guys do the restaurants, the bars. I worked at Whole Foods for a while, Whole Foods Market. I was buying beer and wine, and I was teaching cooking classes, and I enjoyed the restaurant. I enjoyed the restaurant life a lot. I really did. But, it's a tiring thing, and I was trying to gig too, and I always wanted to play full time. Once I really got the bug of acting's fun, but what I really want to do is sing. That's right. Just what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And so when this band started, Wabs and I kind of early on were like, man, this could be something. It's kind of getting hip, and we picked up Scotty, who's our mandolin player now. Scott's a very accomplished bluegrass guy. That's where he brought his chops up. So he is a bluegrasser. And we got him in the band. We had an old bass player who was with us for several years, and he helped us kind of start getting in front of more people and was really pushing the traveling gigs and stuff, and got us to be in a road band. Mm-hmm. And then we picked up our Bill, who's our bass player and multi-instrumentalist now. He's been with us for almost 6.5 years now, And so we just have kind of kept building, and it's been momentum, truly. I mean, I love it, and at this point, I can't imagine what else I'd do. So, I mean, this is my full-time job now.
Okay.
And it has been for many years now.
That's cool.
I've had a couple side hustles for a while, and then when the pandemic hit, I was working hardwood flooring with my buddy in northern Kentucky, Cincinnati area, and so I've been doing that. I had some little 2-bit handyman jobs for a while, but it's been music primarily for the last 8 years, I would say. Mostly for the last 10 years, it's been some form of music or entertainment.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. And that, you've got something that you enjoy doing, that you're passionate about and you love, that's paying you enough that you can, survive on and pay your bills and take care of your family as well.
Sure.
And of course, you're saying that you've got some side jobs as well. And, it's good to have multiple streams of income.
Oh, yeah.
You should in the year 2023 have multiple streams of income.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, unless it is a, truly paying career. Like, it's a tough life, and it's we stay really busy, which is great, but that doesn't always equal wealth,
Right.
or your monetary success. Sometimes busy is just busy.
Certainly.
Which kind of eats up time for other jobs and stuff, and so times get lean, and you lean on I'm married, and I lean on my wife a lot for us to just kind of figure out. But she is incredibly supportive, and she's like, "This is what you need to do. This is the life you're meant to lead, and we'll sort it out," kind of thing. So
that's excellent. It's good to have a partner that supports you and is fully, believes in what you're doing. And
yeah, for sure.
It's no problem to go out on the road and then
Yeah.
come back and everything's still taken care of at home.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you guys tour much?
We do. We're on the road. We do a lot of kind of long weekend stuff. Wabs has he's got a young baby at home. She's about to turn 2 years old now, and so he's trying to he's spending more and more time at home. But we do stay busy. We're out almost every week for at least 2 to 4 days. We kind of do the long weekend stuff now with the intermittent 2 to 3 week runs. We're not, as it stands right now, and that always changes with, I guess, the demand that happens, or if something were to pop, with like material, or if something gets popular and suddenly the West Coast calls you, then it pays to go out there for 3 weeks. But
Right.
we're not the kind of band right now that's on the road for like 2.5 months at a time. But we're playing, I would say, at least 10 to 12 shows a month. So I mean, we're sitting
just
at around
busy, yeah.
we're sitting around 150 shows a year.
Okay.
Which is good.
Right.
Yeah.
I've heard 250 is too many.
I think our busiest year was probably about 230, and it is a lot. It's a lot, dude.
Do you lose track of what city and state that you're in after
Sometimes,
time?
yes.
Like, what day is it even?
The day is what really gets me.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like the kind of the same day every other day because you're at a new venue, new
Yeah.
city, playing the not necessarily maybe the same set list, but
Yeah.
same routine.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Because it's exactly what you just said. It's routine.
Right.
The routine is get in the van, drive, get out of the van, pack out all of your stuff, set up, do the thing, try to sell some merch, pack it all up, get in the van, go sleep in a hotel or crash on someone's couch. Next day you do it all over again.
Right.
So the day is what really gets me on those things is, like, especially when you kind of start bridging into weeks, like with our schedule. We do a lot of like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday kind of thing,
Right.
Home Sunday or a Monday. But when you start going into like Thursday to the next week, by the time you hit that Tuesday or something, you're like, what day is it?
Right.
And that gig 3 days ago feels like it was 2 weeks ago, and you just don't,
Right.
Time is so irrelevant when you do this kind of thing. So,
Man, this can be a trip, can it?
oh, dude, it sure can.
And it's and not like brag or anything, I guess, but I kind of got to experience that a little bit in essence. So I mentioned earlier my buddy that he's been drinking the Cachava. We were talking
Oh,
about
yeah,
that earlier.
yeah.
So he did a show here a couple weeks ago. He's from Fort Lauderdale.
Oh,
and
nice.
after he did a show here, he went back to, of course, he went back to Fort Lauderdale. But my fiance and I, we drove down there to stay with him and his girlfriend for about a week. And then after that following week came up, he had another show that was in Orlando.
Okay.
Yeah, so then we drove together up to Orlando, and I kind of got to experience that a little bit. Going in, it's the same thing. It's here. You go in, set up. It's like we have bands here every week. Go in, set up, make sure everything's good to go. Everything's here set up, and of course,
Yep.
and experience it on the other end of like as an artist going into a new place, meeting with the owners of the venue, chatting, blah blah blah, getting everything set up, making sure the lights are right, because they didn't have, I should say, like the same setup that we've got here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a lot a bit different, but it was
Yeah.
still interesting to just see it from a different perspective. And
Yeah.
it's like after it was all said and done, it was like Monday, and we were going to take off, and then you start driving back home, and it's like, man, it's like my days are all mixed up.
Yeah.
It feels like it's still Saturday, and
Exactly
blah, blah, blah.
right.
So it's cool though.
Yeah.
I can
Who's your
understand a
buddy
little bit.
who's out of Fort Lauderdale?
His name is Asher Shishadi.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a multi-instrumentalist, and he's a electronic music producer.
Oh, unreal.
Yeah,
I'll take him out.
Yeah, he's cool. That's it's kind of like chill. It's like chill electronic music you can listen to. It's not like that crazy like
Nice.
rhythm. He might have some older stuff that's a little bit like crazier and
Yeah.
lots of shit like that. But yeah, his newer stuff it's really neat. It's really cool, and it's really progressed over the last few years.
Oh, hell yeah.
He just released an album, and that was this show was part of his tour that he was doing. And he's got a couple other ones coming up. That one in Orlando, and then he's got one in Charlotte, or not Charlotte. He did the one in Charlotte the week before. See, I'm all mixed up talking about it now.
See, that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
It's so funny because Wabs seems to have, for whatever reason, he kind of has a steel trap when it comes to, like, we'll start talking. Now especially we've been doing it for so long, and we've been fortunate. We've stayed kind of in like the eastern half of the U.S. mostly. I've done some solo touring out west, and like I went to Europe and things like that. But this band has been mainly from like Nebraska to New York and down to like Georgia. So it's like that whole big chunk there,
Right.
So, but at this point, we'll start talking about like, do you remember that gig that we played where something random happened, and Wops will be like, oh yeah, that was in Buffalo. And we were in, and then like he just has this steel trap memory of being able to recall those things. I cannot do that.
Yeah.
I am usually the guy in the van when somebody. It actually happened just today. Scott said, "Do you guys remember where we played so and so?" And I sat there forever, and I was like, I genuinely do not remember this show that you're talking about.
Right.
And it took the one, specific kind of memory to pull it. But
Trigger that and unlock that memory.
That's it. Yeah.
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 Well, that's cool. Earlier I was talking to one of the guys here. He mentioned that you were in a couple of Tyler Childers music videos. Is that right?
I am. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Which
in,
one are those? Which
well,
one are they, I should say?
I've been in the House Fire video from 2019. Was in the I was like the only character in the All Yorn lyric music video, and then I was the main the character in the All Yorn official video, and then this last one actually let me back it up. There was an animated version of me for about 5 seconds in the Country Squire video, which was super cool, that Tony Moore did all the animation for, which was super rad that he put me in that. And then this last one, the Angel Band video from the latest release from this past September. So
Okay,
I've
that's
pulled
cool.
I've pulled them all. I think except for that may be all of them actually. Officially, like all of the official videos, if I'm not mistaken. I don't
cool.
know. Yeah.
And so
Pretty rad.
that's cool. So you've been on TV or what?
I know, yeah.
Yeah, right. So, how do you know Tyler Childers? I mean, it seems like everybody kind of knows Tyler Childers around here, though, in essence. I don't know him. I met him once,
Yeah.
briefly at Mountain Music Festival before he was in Rolling Stone.
That's unreal.
I could say he was nice, but it was as simple as, hey, how you doing? Shake hands and, walk away.
Yeah.
But, tell me, how do you know this guy?
Well, we're on the same booking and management company, Whizbang, out of Huntington, West Virginia.
Okay.
Ian Thornton, who started that band, or I started that group.
I know who Ian Thornton is.
Yeah,
okay.
Ian took us on at the kind of inception of Whizbang, and Obviously he's been the major proponent for Tyler and getting him out there. We first met Tyler through him playing some shows together. Black Sheep Burritos in Huntington was the first time I think we ever saw him play, sitting in front of the window of Black Sheep while people ate their food and just passed along their day, and
Right.
5 years later he's selling out arenas and stuff. It's pretty wild. But so we've known him for a long time. We became friends. Kind of done the passing back and forth of some favors and things like that, and back. So another side hustle. You're talking about side hustles. For a while, it just ended this past winter, but for about 7 years, I was the music director for Jerry Springer's podcast.
Oh, really?
Like television, Jerry Springer.
No way.
Yeah, he did a podcast and was filming it live down in northern Kentucky.
Okay.
Just outside of Cincinnati, but he's an old folkie. He loves old folk music and stuff, and it's all more political leaning, current event stuff. Like he's just really engaged in current events and politics and stuff.
That's
and
cool.
so
I'm down with that.
and so he started this podcast and wanted to have a musical element to it. And I was approached to become the musical director and to bring in bands from all over the country and globe and stuff to do music bits for it, because I'm kind of in the genres of what I play.
Right.
And so back in 19, Tyler right as Tyler was like really catching a bunch of steam. He did a 2-night stint in Covington, Kentucky, right outside of Cincinnati. And it was right around the Cincinnati Reds opening day parade. The opening day parade in Cincinnati, if you guys are unfamiliar who are listening, is like a major ordeal. I mean, Cincinnati's America's oldest baseball town,
right?
And opening day is a major thing. I had no idea until I moved there. Huge baseball fan as a kid and stuff, but I had no idea what it meant. But I mean, hundreds of thousands of people line the streets in Cincinnati. And in 19, a festival actually that Wabs started, it's called the Whispering Beard Folk Festival in Cincinnati. We had a float in the parade. For several years, we've had a float. And I kind of MC the float, walking down the street, and we've had music on the back of the trailer, and all that stuff. Just kind of having a hoot nanny and having
Sounds
fun.
like a lot of fun.
Good time for day drinking. Is pretty much what it turns into. But in 19, when he was playing in Covington, we were talking about something. He said, and I asked him if he and the band would come and do the parade with us that morning. And he said, I'll tell you what, he's like, if you can get Jerry Springer to come and do one of Jerry's final thoughts at one of my shows in Covington, then I'll come do the parade.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, like challenge accepted.
Right.
And I talked to Jerry about it, and he was all about it. So I took him down to the theater and took him back into the back, and Jerry Springer went on stage, and everybody went nuts. And that night I asked Tyler, I was like, so? He's like, well, you came through, so I got to come through.
Right.
So he hit the parade with us. And that's where my acting kind of stuff took over. It's like the MC of the parade. I'm I'm outlandish, and I'm talking to people, and I'm running around, and we're singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," and I'm wearing a white tuxedo, all sequined out with a top hat, and a big Reds logo on the back. And after that, I kind of think, I don't know that, I've never, I guess, confirmed this, but I kind of think that's where Tyler kind of got the idea of like Casey can be a character, like
right.
And so and he just hit his RCA contract then, and they were setting up the videos, and Ian and Tyler called me up. It was like, man, we got something we want to run by you. And from the get go, I was like, dude, y'all tell me what you want me to do.
Right.
Like, I'm there. I mean, and to this day, that's after this last video, I said, buddy, I ain't shaved my face in 15 years, but you tell me to shave my face for something you want to do, and I'm there. Like,
wow.
I'll do it, dude.
That's respect, and that's dedication. I tell you, and shave your beard for him.
That's it, man. Well, it's just fun, and like the thing that I really appreciate about Tyler and his music and what he's done with the videos and all this stuff is that he's just kind of got this creative idea and this this vision that he wants to see through, and he has the platform now to be able to do that, and he's been rather uncompromising on the way that he wants to see his business handled,
right.
And I appreciate that. And when it came to the videos and just kind of how weird they were, and the story that doesn't really tie into the music, but like the whole feeling and kind of theme, he finds this way to kind of make it coalesce. Like, I really appreciate it artistically because it's different and it's unique. And I think that's the reason why a lot of people like his music is because it's honest and it's him and it's a unique thing, that he's doing.
It's real.
So, yeah.
It's real. And I think people can relate to that. In a
Oh
way
yeah,
too,
for sure. And the videos were the same way, through the production and all that stuff. It just I felt like I got to do something like that I'm truly proud to do, and it was really special kind of stuff. So,
Right.
Yeah.
So that music video for is called "You're All Mine" or "You're."
Oh yeah, All Yourn.
All
Yeah.
Yourn. There you go.
Yeah.
See, I've seen it briefly. Man, it's been a long time because honestly, I don't really listen to Tyler Children's. Like,
Okay.
I have nothing wrong with him
Oh
or
yeah.
anything,
No,
but
I understand.
the music video. Are you wearing like a white button up and some like old
Yeah,
like,
wearing like an
trousers or
old time
something?
shirt
Yeah.
and some straps and
Yeah,
mhm.
something like out in the woods, doing something out in the woods.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So I remember.
Yeah, those.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Put two and two together there now.
Yeah.
So
Got a little weird, all that stuff. Went
Did it?
falling down the rabbit hole in the woods, and
Yeah.
that whole fun thing. Yeah,
this sounds interesting.
It was.
Wouldn't want it any other way though for a Tyler Childers video.
I know. Yeah, right.
Do you know who? Oh god, here I have a brain fart. Do you know who the Dinosaur Burps are?
I've heard that name.
Yeah.
I don't know them personally.
Okay, they're a I was gonna say a duo, but there's actually three of them.
Okay.
And
I
they're
love the name.
they're Charleston's underground hip hop band or band.
That's where it
group, I
is.
should say. They'd kill me if I said band, but anyways, yeah, that's who they are, and they actually they've known Tyler since he was playing over at the Empty Glass
Yeah.
back at one time to probably nobody. Like you said, there's
Yep.
times he played at Taylor Books downtown Charleston. I've heard stories of that, and there'd be nobody in there too, and it's a matter of a couple years goes by and you become famous and you're selling out arenas. But I'm skipping off subject now. The it still has to do with that. Actually, the Dinosaur Burps, they got to do the after party, or Tyler messaged them and said, "I want you to do my after
That's
party
right.
out in
Red
Denver."
Rocks.
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah, so they flew
First
out
time I
there
ever
a few
heard their
months ago
name.
and did that.
Yeah, first time I ever heard their name was when we played the Empty Glass. I saw a flyer for them, and I remember talking to Wabs. I was like, "That is a fucking great band name, Dinosaur Burps."
Yeah, they rap about like eating cheeseburgers and smoking weed, is what Tyler said.
So funny,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, they're cool and they're common here. They played here at the shop a couple times.
Rad.
Yeah, they're cool. Definitely, if you get a chance, you check them out.
I will,
Spotify
for sure.
Or something.
Yeah, I was about to say.
You like hip hop?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah,
listen
they're
to
cool.
listen to it all.
Yeah, some of their lyrics pertain to like things here in West Virginia and Appalachia and things. So it kind of like also puts West Virginia on the map in
Nice.
essence because. Yeah, it's like everybody outside of West Virginia thinks we're all just like a bunch of hillbillies here.
Dude.
But in reality, it's like we're not all hillbillies.
No, not at all,
Right.
man.
There's some very talented people from the state, very smart and educated people from the state.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just it's a bad stereotype that it gets put on us.
Oh, sure. Well, I mean, first of all, I can definitely relate to that being from Alabama. I mean, I've heard it my whole life. But secondly, like I used to work at Theater West Virginia, based out of Beckley, doing like the Hatfield McCoy plays and stuff, the outdoor
Yeah.
dramas. I worked there for 3 summers back 20 some odd years ago now. And I fell in love with West Virginia the first time I was ever up here. You can sense the age of the mountains when you're here. Like there's something wise about just the land in general. But it is such a diverse group of communities and people. Some of the most open-minded people I've ever met in my life have been from West Virginia.
Certainly.
Some of the most accepting of anybody and everything and everybody, has been from West Virginia.
Right.
And some of the most fiercely proud people I've ever met in my life are West Virginians. Like, I 1,000% agree with what you just said. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's the truth, man.
Yeah,
it's glad
it
to
really
have somebody
is.
agree too.
Fuck yeah, dude.
And it's as it goes, just not just with West Virginia, but Charleston too. We've got a great group of people here, a great community of people that support the music industry and support bands like your all's.
Yeah.
Which tonight I heard that it may be close to capacity in here.
I hope so. I know before when we came in, they said there were maybe a couple tickets left, but
Yeah, there are a few tickets left, and it's like a few.
we're looking to pack it in,
Yeah.
dude. It's going to be this space, y'all. The shop in Dunbar, West Virginia. This is a space.
Yeah,
I
man.
mean, truly, this is awesome. The
Yeah.
production quality is top notch. Everybody's been super cool, and it's going to be a really fun experience playing in this room.
Yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Would you compare this to somewhere in, let's say, I don't know, like Nashville or any of these other bigger cities that have cool little venues and spots
Yeah.
with music going on?
It does remind me of a place in Indianapolis, Indiana, called the Hi-Fi, which is a great kind of smaller. Capacity wise, it's probably about double what we have here.
Right.
But it's that shotgun style, but really professional grade stage and production.
Right.
Is the first thing that comes to mind. Man, there's somewhere else. Let me think about this throughout the rest of our conversation. But there's another room. We've played a small little listening room, and I just cannot remember where it is. It's the Nook in Danville, Kentucky.
Okay.
It's a newer place, and the Nook has a little more of a lounge feel. Like it's kind of like some comfy seatings, and it's a little more spread out.
Right.
But it's still a very kind of like tight and intimate setting.
Yes.
With really great acoustics. That's the thing that, first of all, I love about this room already.
Right.
Is that it sounds awesome.
Yes, it does. Amazing.
Shows are music shows, right? It's like
Right.
it should sound good.
Yeah.
You know
it shouldn't
what I mean?
like burn your eardrums out either.
No,
by the
not
end,
at all.
right?
Yeah, volume does not indicate any kind of level of quality of sound. So,
Right.
But yeah, the Nook in Danville is kind of sporting the same vibe here. That just really intimate, draw everybody in close. Like I'm probably going to tell some stories tonight. I'm going to have that kind of license to get close to people because they're right up on top of us.
Yeah, definitely.
But we'll also be able to stomp a hole straight through the floor with it. You know what I mean?
I hope they don't stomp a hole through these floors because those are solid concrete.
Well, I hope not. I don't want to go breaking any feet.
Hey, well, it might be a story worth telling though. So I broke my foot at the show the other night.
That's right. If anybody breaks their foot at this show, we'll put it on a T-shirt. I broke my foot at the shop,
And all I got was this lousy
and
T-shirt.
all I got was this lousy T-shirt.
Oh man, geez, let's see here. What else? Oh, you're from Ohio. Well, you're not from Ohio, but you live in
I
Ohio.
live in Ohio,
so
yeah.
here, sympathize with me here. Why do Ohio drivers cruise in the right lane?
Buddy, you mean left lane, cruising the left, or
Yeah, left lane.
Yeah.
I got it mixed up here. In the fast lane, in the they call it the commuter lane, I suppose. But if you don't have two people, then you're not commuting.
Yep. I can't answer that. I honestly don't know.
Yeah. And so-
It was something when I worked in West Virginia many years ago. I noticed it's something that people comment on all the time, and it's something that I have just in general the rules of the road when it comes to drivers in Cincinnati and throughout Ohio. I don't understand why we drive the way we do.
Man, it's either it's too fast or it's too slow, but it's always the Buckeye driver riding in the left lane.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's everybody from West Virginia. There's Buckeye drivers. Ah!
Yeah.
Or they hit the cruise control and they just cruise, but they'll do like right under the speed limit.
Yeah.
It's like everybody around here in the fast lane, at least, like. I don't know, man. Things change. Things have kind of changed. People do like 80 in the fast lane through here now.
Yeah.
It's like generally like 60, 70 throughout the interstates. But yeah, people cruise like 80, and you have to slide on over a little bit. But I found in bigger cities, in the fast lane, that's the commuting lane. There's the carpool lane, as they call it too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like people that maybe aren't familiar with it being in West Virginia is that the speeding lane or the fast lane, the left lane, is only supposed to be used for passing.
For passing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly
then you get
right.
back into the right lane again.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, but people in maybe bigger cities don't know that, or they don't care. They're just like, hey, I'm in the commuting lane.
Yep. Well, I will say, this is a kind of a grievance I have all across the country. I do. I will say this: especially when you get into larger metropolitan areas, and it's an awful design of civil engineering is the left-hand exit, right?
Yes.
So, like when I'm in Cincinnati,
Wait, left-hand exit.
yeah.
I don't see too many left-hand exits around here.
Oh, okay.
We've got right-hand exits.
Yeah, well, through probably 95% of the interstates, they're all right-hand exits.
Mm-hmm.
But like in Cincinnati, when you get into Cincinnati and you get into downtown and other different cities, you'll have left lane exits.
Okay.
And then you'll have lanes that become exit only, and there'll be like 4 lanes, but the right 3 lanes all become exit only lanes. And so if you're a local, you know that like the left lane is the through lane, right?
Yes.
But that's only for metropolitan areas. So I'm not giving anybody a pass on that. But just like in general, when I get in big cities, I stay out of the left lane unless I have to move left in order to keep going straight or to stay in my lanes. But
Right.
yeah, I will say that maybe I just cracked something there. Like maybe it's just the left. Maybe that's an Ohio thing. Well, although we had a couple, I think I grew up around Birmingham, Alabama, so I think we may have had a couple left-hand exits there, but that's only in like the larger, bigger cities. Otherwise, stay out of the left lane.
Right.
Stay out of the left lane.
And you go, facts. Stay out of the left lane
Right.
unless you're getting off that left-handed exit.
That's right.
Or you're cruising through, I suppose.
That's right.
It's when I get in bigger cities, I always get maybe not just I watch out more. It's not necessarily about being nervous because
sure.
I can handle the flow of traffic, but it's just being more observant around you because there's a lot of idiots out on the roads.
sure.
And I feel very confident in my driving. It's just the other people that are around me.
Yep. Never feel confident in someone else's driving.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. We're not professionals.
We're not, but man, I'd kind of like to be. When I was a
I
kid,
kinda always
like
wanted to be
my
too.
parents, they watched NASCAR.
Yeah, me too.
And I always thought like Bobby Labonte was the coolest. That was my favorite driver.
Yeah.
And it's like, but I didn't realize how much it costs to actually like even race go karts. It's like
man.
even race motocross.
Yep.
And it's like my parents. They weren't poor, but they weren't having the money to throw out for me to go and do any racing like that. And I was like, man, that would be like sick. That would be the best.
Yep. I've gotten a couple chances to go to some NASCAR races way back in the day, and when I was younger, my brother used to take me out to a drag strip in Gardendale, Alabama, just like like pro mod stuff, just like regular dudes who were souping up their old Novas and stuff like that, and going out and just wanting to race them against each other. It's some of the best times of my life, dude. I still enjoy it on some levels, but not near like I used to. I really used to love racing in all kinds of forms.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun,
It would be
Next to,
so much fun.
Would it be cool to be like a monster truck driver? At least do that like once and try that.
Of course, it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I watch
like every
it
little
sometimes.
kid's dream.
Yeah, and then as you get to be like a big kid, you're like, hey, like I could still do that.
Yeah.
I could.
Yeah,
I could
exactly
be, I could
right.
be Gravedigger.
I could be Gravedigger.
That's right.
Yeah.
I did the Gravedigger tour. I don't know if they do it anymore, but down in like on the way to Myrtle Beach in South Carolina, they got a spot that's like a Gravedigger museum. And they'll take you up
unreal.
and they'll stick you in the back of an old Gravedigger and drive you around the property, sort of thing.
That's pretty dope.
And as a kid, that's pretty exciting.
Yeah,
So,
that's awesome. I'm
to-
gonna have to go do that. I did not know that was a thing.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure it's still there. I don't know if they still give rides though. I have to
Okay.
y'all look that up and figure it out, and then
Gravedigger, holler at us.
Put it in the chat below.
Gravedigger Museum, Priceville Huss would love a sponsorship.
Grassroots would like a sponsorship as well. If we're throwing out sponsorships.
Let's get some Gravedigger action in here.
Let's see. We're at 9:23. Let's go ahead and start wrapping things up. I suppose.
All right, man, yeah.
I told you I want to give you a little bit of chill time
I
beforehand.
appreciate that.
You're welcome. I know you've got real quick about the band. You've got 3 albums. Do you have any new music that you're coming out with? 'Cause
Yes.
The last one was 2019, right?
Correct, yeah. And we were actually getting ready when the pandemic hit. Well, we had just started like working our new material into our set, and we're getting ready to record. Pandemic hit. Our bass player, is based in Nashville, and all of us kind of split. So we went almost a year without seeing each other. We talked and communicated and stuff. But we took almost all of 21 to kind of get our feet back underneath us, and we went back into the studio this summer. And as we talk right now, first part of 23, we've got our final mixes being worked on right now. A brand new album will be out this year. Singles should be coming out within the next couple weeks or a couple months maybe. Also, possibly even another project this year because we had more material than goes on one album.
Right.
So yes. The long answer to your question is yes, we do.
Awesome.
A lot of new material coming out, new content in all forms, videos, music, whatever. Yeah.
Okay. You got a name for the album yet?
This one will be our self-titled album, so
Okay,
it'll be Buffalo Wabs and the Priceville Hustle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I'm sure all the people watching are looking forward to that and
hope so.
to hear it as well because it's 2019. That's 4 years now.
I know it's
yeah.
hard to believe. Yeah.
Getting enough material in between now and then you should have some I can't even talk right, man. You should have some good stuff coming out.
Yeah, for sure. And we've been playing these songs for a while now, and so they're really nice and polished. We did the whole studio magic kind of thing on this album, so we took our time. We've got a bunch of guest artists. It's a really nice, polished kind of album, and then we're already on the horn with other brand new material. Try to keep this ball rolling. Now that we finally got this one done, which should have been done almost 3 years ago now.
Right.
We hope to keep it, if we're lucky, a yearly album cycle.
Okay. Cool. And when again can people look forward to that coming out?
I would say start looking for singles dropping if everything goes well with the mix and stuff before Memorial Day of 23, and then some of it depends on kind of stuff outside of our hands. We're gonna spend some time trying to shop this one to possibly get maybe some interest from some smaller labels or something like that,
right?
And see if anybody's interested in helping us, publish it and get some real good promotion on it. But we're going to start getting it out as soon as we can. We're not going to sit on it for very long. So by the end of summer in 23, you can look for something physically in your hands, possibly even, like I said, 2 albums.
Okay.
So,
Awesome. Now, do you guys have any shows coming up? Like any big ones for the spring or even the summer? Any festivals? Anything like that?
Yeah, we've let's see. The first one that comes to mind is Delfest out in what's that? Cumberland, Maryland. It's our first year at Delfest. We're super pumped about that.
Del McCurry's not going to kick you out of there for playing drums on stage.
I sure hope not. We got to open up for Del in Columbus, Ohio, several months ago, and he was a mighty fine sport about there being drums right before he went on stage. So
that's cool.
I think he'll allow it. But so Delfest, which we're really pumped about, the Laurel Cove Music Festival in Pineville, Kentucky.
Okay.
Definitely check that one out if there are even still tickets available. That's becoming a really hotbed of music down there. I mean, just like West Virginia is truly, but Central Eastern Kentucky is just so huge right now on not only the quality of music, but the kind of rabid nature of the fans and really the massive support that they're putting out for their artists,
Yeah.
So Laurel Cove is a great one. Festival of the Red is another Kentucky festival, and then we've got other stuff coming out through the summer. But yeah, that kind of kicks off our Memorial Day swing right into the hot months. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
All right, it sounds like you guys are busy. You've got a lot going on. New music's coming out.
Yeah.
Big shows to play.
That's it, man.
You're playing here at the shop tonight.
Yeah.
Man,
Really looking forward to it. Getting the live stream on this one tonight, which will be awesome. Got some good video from it, so it'll be rad,
and
dude.
the live stream footage from here, it's excellent, man. I mean, like you.
Oh, coming back,
I
it
can
looks
try
like
to explain it. Like, you know what Nugs TV is?
Yeah,
It's very similar to Nugs.
1,000%. Yeah, it looks like I mean, when I walked here into the production studio, they had got the multi-camera angles up and stuff. I mean, it looked like we were about to shoot the evening news.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
they got this whole new setup over here that was different from last week when I was inside, and it's very impressive. I said it was the mothership earlier.
I love it, dude.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's cool.
We're really looking forward to tonight. Like, we walked in, professional attitude. Everybody led us straight to where we go, and then you walk into the room and you see the baffling on the walls and the cameras and the light rigs, and it's like these guys are not messing around.
Yeah,
they know what they're doing.
They've got enough equipment in there to run a small festival. 100%. I'm not bullshitting about that.
No,
yeah, it really is.
I totally agree.
Man, well, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
And I appreciate you.
I reached out the other day. I don't know if I talked to you or one of the other times. Yeah, I reached out, and it was as simple as it could be. And I thought, thank goodness for Instagram working my favor this time. It's not hard or difficult or anything, but sometimes, just reaching out on my own, things don't always work out that way.
Sure.
And especially if you got like a manager or somebody that's the gatekeeper that says, here's what you can and can't ask, or sort of thing. So I appreciate.
We got
that,
a long way to go till we're that big time. So
yeah, well, hey, you're always welcome to come back and chat.
I appreciate it, brother. I'd be happy to come back anytime.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Will you tell the people watching where they can find your music at, like your social media, all that stuff?
Yep, you can find us at PriceHillHustle.com. That's our website. Anywhere you get your music, just search Price Hill Hustle. It'll bring up our albums. Buffalo Wabs and the Price Hill Hustle through social medias, all that stuff. I have some solo music I'll also plug. Casey Campbell, just like the soup. You can find that on Spotify. There is another Casey Campbell out of Nashville. If he's a highly accomplished mandolin player, that's the other Casey Campbell. That is not me. But go check him out too. He's rad. But yeah, you can just find us all throughout the internet. Google Price Hill Hustle. It'll take you straight to our website, and that's where we got dates, merchandise, upcoming music you can download, all that stuff.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you, Casey. I appreciate it. And
appreciate you.
of course, you guys watching, if you like the podcast, you can always check this out on YouTube and Rumble. Just search for the Grassroots 304 podcast. I'm also on Facebook. You can look that up, Grassroots 304 podcast. And you can find me on Instagram, see all the behind the scenes stuff. I'm at Mike Grassroots. Try to keep it simple. And yeah. Not on Spotify yet, but I'm trying to get this working on Spotify.
Yeah, you got to.
Out. Yeah. It's a process, you know.
It sure is, man. All of it is.
Yeah, but it's a lot of fun though. So yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And of course,
Thanks,
you
Mike.
want to see these guys here one more time? I'll bring it in here. There we go.
Yeah.
That's right. If you want to see these guys, they're getting ready to play here at the shop in Dunbar. The address is 1233 Ohio Avenue, and show starts at 10. I hear it getting busy out there already. There's a lot of people out front of the door, and yeah, I'm excited to see it. You guys are gonna burn it down.
Yeah, we'll try, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, and if you're watching live, catch that live stream. Go over to Live at the Shop, and you can dial on in.
Yeah, we'll be setting that up here just after the podcast is over, starting at 10 o'clock. So,
beautiful.
Yeah. Again, thanks, Casey. I appreciate it.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, you're welcome. See you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Peace out. Awesome.
Awesome.
That's cool, man.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
My pleasure, brother. Oh, thanks for having me.